Hi, I'm Loretta Bush, President and CEO for Authority Health. Now, last time we were together, I promised that this upcoming year we would start to talk about various different topics that still affect health and wellness. And so today I'm very excited to be talking about a topic that many times are considered among the social determinants of health. Now, when you hear social determinants of health, many times people think about food insecurity, education, transportation issues, and all of those are social determinants of health. But there is a critical one that many times people forget about, and that's financial health and financial literacy. Now, being literate does not equate to being financially literate. You know, it has a language all of its own. The same way health has a language all of its own, financial health has a language all of its own. And you know what? When we don't know and understand that language and how to use that language and the skills associated with it, many times we can find ourselves in trouble. Things like bad lifestyle choices, poor credit, losing your home, or if you're a renter, being kicked out of your home. But help is on the way. Financial health, like health literacy, needs greater attention and a community health strategy. And I have someone with me today who's going to assist with that. His name is Michael Randall. He is the executive director of the Grandmont Rosedale Community Development Corporation. He's devoted his career to the development of communities around the country and really around the world. He has worked in public health, urban planning, housing, community enrichment, and has financial capabilities. He is a financial counselor for people struggling to manage their financial well-being day to day. And I'd have to say that that's probably all of us. He is the financial wellness coach for Operation Hope. And today, he's here with me today. Thank you, Michael, for being here.
Thank you for having me, and congrats on all the recent success here at Authority Health. Really
Well,
happy to be here. Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. All right. So, Michael, the lack of financial literacy, as I said in the opening, can lead to very serious problems. What is financial literacy, and why do you see it as important?
It's very important, and over at Operation Hope, we see financial literacy as a civil rights issue of today. If you think about the word literacy and what the definition is, the definition of literacy is to read and write, right? And so when you think about financial literacy, reading and writing is what? Communication, right? And so financial literacy is pretty much how you communicate with the financial world. And when it comes to Operation Hope, we're really big on equipping individuals to be able to interface with the financial world. And who is the financial world? Well, that's bankers, that are individuals that are selling you products. Those are individuals that are helping you get a mortgage, you know, an individual that is selling you a credit card, right? How can you communicate with that world in a way that's dignified and that's helping you and your family go to the next level, right? And so when we think about financial literacy, ultimately it's the skills of how people communicate with that world. And we're very, very intentional about it. We work primarily in low to moderate income neighborhoods, but as you mentioned in your opening, this is something that impacts everyone. And so that's really what how we define financial literacy.
You know what, and that's a powerful definition. There's a couple of things that really stuck out for me. One is this communication, being able to communicate in a dignified manner. Yes. Because suffice it to say, I think many of us are afraid when we start dealing with bankers and mortgage companies probably don't even really read the mortgage document or the rental document. Yeah. You know, we have literacy, we can read and write, but this is a different language. Absolutely. And everything. Definitely. And then you also mentioned financial literacy and communication in that world is for the betterment of our families.
Absolutely, definitely. I mean, think about it. Your finances, it touches everything in your life. It touches education. It touches religion. You know, your faith. It touches your ability to put food on the table. Your ability to take care of your children. Right. So it is such a you know, immersed issue when it comes to how we function and how we move about this world day to day. And so I look at that as an opportunity because, I may not have children. I do have a son, but
Yes.
I may not have children. I may not be married, or I may be married. I may not be a person that belongs to some type of religious affiliation, whatnot. But everyone needs a dollar. Everyone needs the ability to be able to purchase goods and move about this world and take care of their livelihood, right? And so that's the equalizer, if you will, that makes these conversations able to happen in a multitude of environments, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. Now, many times when people hear the term financial planning or having a financial planner, people think that that's for affluent people, people who have a lot of money. But that's not the case from what we're hearing. So how do we maximize wealth? How do you have that conversation with people who aren't affluent or aren't wealthy?
Absolutely. Well, it starts with a basic plan, right? And so when you think about the three things that we focus on at Operation Hope is debt reduction, savings, and improving your credit score, right? And so those are three very, very fundamental things that are the foundation of your financial well-being, your financial health, right? And so anybody can have a conversation about that. There are individuals that are managing $30,000 a year and they are living well, and there are people that are mismanaging $300,000 a year and they are in a lot of stress and turmoil, right? And so there is not a numerical number attached to the ability to have that conversation, right? Because again, these are foundational: debt reduction, credit score improvement, which everybody has a credit score,
right,
and increasing your savings. And that can be the jump off point to, more defined and more intentional financial planning when it comes to retirement, maybe some investing and whatnot, but you can always start with that baseline, and it doesn't matter what your income is to have those basic conversations.
Those basic three, and let's just make sure that folks have heard them. Let's just say them again. So you talked about debt reduction. So when you're working in that area with people, what do you normally see? Where do you have to usually start your approach on this debt reduction? Is it credit cards? Is it eating out? Now that's what I always tell people. If you're eating out every day, okay, you can reduce your debt right there.
Yeah.
But you do this for a living, so debt reduction. What do you see in that area most of the time that needs to be addressed?
Well, I see a lot of overspending, and I also see a lot of, I would say, a lack of lifestyle modification. So Loretta, I'm actually not the type of coach that's going to tell you, Loretta, maybe you should, not go out to eat, or maybe you should.
That's why I'm not a lifestyle coach, right? That's why I'm a mom and a grandmother.
Yes.
I'm eating out every day.
Yeah. So I'm more about lifestyle modification.
Okay.
So what do you need to have in place if you like to have a good meal every, now and then with your family? Maybe you don't need that new purse or that new belt or wallet or shoes maybe every month, right? So maybe we can modify and adjust in that area to make sure that you can have that communal opportunity with your family over a nice meal, right? So I'm more about, maybe strategizing how you can modify your lifestyle in a way to make those things possible, right?
And it sounds like prioritizing, because where another person may say, nope, I want the belt, another person may say, no, I want this experience.
Absolutely, yes.
So helping people to understand, how to prioritize where they put their money.
Yeah, and to go
we
back
all
to,
need to do that.
Absolutely, and to go back to your original question, like what do I usually see? I typically see a debt to income ratio that is not healthy, right?
Okay.
And so when you look at the income and you look at the debt, they're both right there, right?
Yeah.
And so how can we adjust that a little bit where you have more breathing room, where you can increase that savings, reduce a little bit of that debt, get your debt utilization down, and then be able to, every now and then you can go out for a nice meal with your family, right?
Sure.
But if your debt and your income are neck and neck vying for first place, you're gonna have a hard time having these long-term conversations about how you can put your family in the best position.
Absolutely. And then the second one you talked about, I believe, was improving the credit score.
Yes.
Now that's always one that people struggle with because it's
Yes.
so if I got bad credit, I can't get credit. How do I improve my credit if no one will let me buy on credit? So where do you start with that?
I tell people to look.
Okay.
Look every single day, if possible, but at least twice a week. Look at your credit score. And then also look at what comprises a credit score. It's your debt utilization. It's the number of accounts you have. It's the age of the accounts. It's your diversification, right? How many different types of accounts do you have? Is it all revolving? Is it all installment, right? And then how many inquiries do you have on your credit score, right? You need to look. You need to understand what it what it's comprised of, right?
Yeah.
You can't pick your mother and your father. You can't pick your Social Security. You can't pick your Social Security number.
Right.
But you can adjust this. You have control. You have agency in this area, and so you have to look, right? Most people don't look. They don't want to look, right? I know it's bad. I don't even want to look.
Don't
No,
want to look.
And the first thing let's look at it.
Right.
And
But you also
times,
give them language, though, because you talked
Absolutely.
about, is it revolving? Is it?
Yes.
So this is where it gets to health literacy,
Yes.
because many of us aren't going to know if we're looking at that. Is that revolving? Is that this? And
Thank
so,
you. Yeah, you got me.
I did.
Going back to that literacy, so
Right.
revolving is like your credit cards, right? Look at it as a revolving. Every time you use it, you have that amount available for usage, right?
Yes.
An installment is an installment. So you have a set amount, and each month that you pay it down, that month that balance goes down, but you don't have new debt to utilize,
Got
right?
it.
And so that's the difference between revolving and an installment. And those are the fundamental things. Once people understand that, they understand, okay, well, I can see how I can make an impact on my credit score. And that gives people the agency, that gives people the encouragement to say, I have control in this area. And once people feel that, they're off to the races.
Off and running. So, Michael, we've already talked about 2 of the 3 areas. We talked about debt reduction. We talked about knowing your credit score. And I think the third one was savings.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. And so we've all heard that old adage, a penny saved is a penny earned,
Yep.
right? But what if you're someone that, you're only, making pennies, or you feel like all of your pennies need to go towards putting the roof over your head,
Absolutely.
food in your mouth. But then also, as you pointed out earlier, there are some people who have a very strong income, but still just don't have a savings mentality.
Absolutely.
How do you talk to people? How do you approach that?
Well, you said the word mentality, right? It really starts with how you view savings, how you view it as a value add to your household and the composition of your financial health. And so it's very, very important. It is a muscle that has to be developed. If you're not a person that is used to saving and you don't have the habit of savings, right? Every single day being intentional about that, right? So it might be a low income. It might be you're making a certain amount. I say $10 a month, maybe $5 a week, right? Because it's the little bits, just like when you go to the gym and begin exercising, right? That first week you're going to be really, really sore, but maybe week 6 or 7, now you're just in there and you're working out, and now you're leading others, right? And so it is something that has to be developed, and it doesn't matter what income level you find yourself at. If you do not have that habit, if you do not have that mentality of saving for a rainy day, or being intentional about savings being a part of your financial health and profile, then you're not going to be able to do it. So I always encourage people, there is no dollar amount that's too little when it comes to developing the ability and the intention of saving for it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. No dollar amount too small when you're trying to develop the habit of savings.
Absolutely.
That's great. Okay, so today we are talking to Michael Randall. He is director of the Grandmont Rosedale Community Development Corporation, who is also a financial wellness coach. Michael, is there a way that people who are listening might be able to get in touch with you? Is there a phone number or a website that they can go to?
Absolutely. Well, visit operationhope.org. We are the largest and oldest financial literacy organization in the country. I actually first got associated with Operation Hope as a financial coach and community development coordinator 9 years ago with Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing financial coaching ever since. It is what I do. I build communities, but I also love helping to build families, right? And again, like I said in the beginning, finances touches so much. And so I find it a privilege to continue this work in the financial capability space as well. OperationHope.org, you can reach out to me. My email is michael.randall@operationhope.org. And that's one-on-one coaching as well as workshops. And definitely want to shout out our partner in this, First Independence Bank, with our Hope Inside location. We actually are able to do workshops and one-on-one coaching within the bank, which is, again, going back to what I said in the beginning, connecting people with the financial services industry. And so michael.randall, operationhope.org, operationhope.org is the website.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that financial literacy, wellness, and health connection, because you brought it up just briefly when you first started talking, and you said that even people who have wealth or more money, they can overspend, and you use the keyword stress. You find themselves in terrible stress. And then sometimes when people aren't able to manage their money, they find themselves making very poor health decisions. They may try to mask that stress with drugs, with alcohol, and just with overeating or with undereating, just very poor health choices. It can lead to that. So talk to us about how financial literacy can assist.
Absolutely. If you think about the social determinants, right? And, I'm going to put on my American Heart Association hat right now.
Yes.
90% of heart disease is preventable. We know that. And social determinants, the science tells us that. And so when you break it down and deduce it down even further, well, what are those social determinants? Housing, transportation, income, employment, access to healthy food, right? Every one of those social determinants are impacted by your ability to navigate the financial world.
Every one of them,
right? And so if you can't navigate that based on the inability to interface with the financial services world, then all of those social determinants are going to be compounded, right? And at Operation Hope, we look at 700 credit score communities as a proxy for the health of that community, right? And then you can overlay social determinant data right over that, right? If you look at a 725 plus credit score community, there are better schools, there are more income, higher income jobs, better housing stock, more full service grocery stores, more opportunities for public transportation, right? But then you look at 550 credit score communities, you see a higher level in crime, lower overall literacy rates, higher infant mortality rates, right? There are so many, so you can use credit scores as a proxy for overall community health. And it's right there, right? And so again, starting with literacy, I don't know what comprises a credit score by osmosis. I know because I was taught. Somebody taught me, right?
That's right.
And so, and the beautiful thing about financial literacy is we can all be teachers in this space. Each one can indeed reach one when it comes to, okay, how did you improve your credit score? This is how I did it. And so we can literally be the change that we want to see in our communities. And so I think that more financially well families are healthier. They have more access to healthier food. They have more opportunities for employment. They have more opportunities for better healthcare navigation. Right?
Right.
So there's so many ways that you can compound it, but it starts with that basic understanding of what financial wellness actually is.
Absolutely. So Michael Randall, thank you so much for being here with us. As we could go on and on because financial literacy. You got all day. You got all day. I wish our listeners would stay with us all day, but you've given them, your contact information. Certainly, that this is a big piece of health and wellness, being financially literate, being able to take care of your family, being able to understand the language of finance, and being able to move and groove within that system. So as I always like to say, knowledge is power. You have the knowledge and you have access to even more knowledge, and we're going to see you next time.